tonight to introduce a special out-of-town guest speaker, Detective Jim Gormley, 33-year veteran of the Springfield Police Department, also served on the Hamden Police Department. He's currently at the United States Courthouse in Springfield. So he is a subject matter expert in the area of scams and fraud against the elderly, serving on the Special Victims Unit at Springfield PD. Before we introduce Mr. Gormley, I just want to recognize Rutland Police and we have Sergeant Diane Herzig.
Hello, everyone.
Representing. If you had any questions local on what you might be experiencing here, the sergeant's here available for your questions. So we appreciate the police department's participation in these informational series, and we look forward to seeing what's coming up this winter. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Detective Jim Gormley. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I enjoy doing this, so thank you. Just a little bit more about myself. 33 years in Springfield PD. About 10 years was in patrol, so I did some night shifts, some 4 to 12, and then I was on days. Then from there, I went into community policing, and after that, it was 15 years in the Special Victims Unit. So the majority of my investigations were for elder fraud and disabled, crimes against the elderly and disabled. And if you worked a weekend, which I did, every now and then, we had to do sexual assaults. So I got the gambit of just about everything between domestic sexual assaults, identity fraud, neglect, abuse. So I learned a lot. And as a result of that, I'm here to help you understand what we go through. I'm going to show you a couple of reports. One report in particular that took a long time to investigate was a 2.5-year investigation on a credit card fraud ring in the city of Springfield. It was one woman. And some tips on how to avoid scams and how to recognize scams. And I did this PowerPoint. Now, I'm not the best IT guy in the world, and but I think this is okay. If at the end, if you have any suggestions that I should change this, that, or the color scheme, just let me know, and I'd be happy to make any changes I can. But I'm going to start off with a video first.
Hello. What is your name? Hello, Andy. Nice to meet you. I am Danny Ashley. I'm going to predict your future. But first, Andy, I have to see your ID. And a credit card ID. Thank you, Andy. I shall now predict your future. I predict that your identity is going to be stolen.
Okay, that's how easy it is. So what is identity fraud? Illegally using someone else's personal information to obtain credit card, money, goods, services, employment, or anything else of value or benefit without that person's consent. Okay, that's identity fraud. So what do criminals use identity fraud for? They use it for credit cards, bank accounts, usually checking, false IDs, driver's license, passports, to get a visa going to another country. And by the way, I have a tendency to speak fast because I want to get all this in. So if I go too fast, just let me know. Say, hey, you know. And if you need to ask me a question, don't wait till the end, because I'm 60 and I understand what it's like to forget things. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll go from there. All right. Healthcare. A lot of times you go to a hospital, they want to see your ID, your driver's license, whatever, healthcare card. They may use it for that to get a free operation. Utility services, electric, gas, cable, phone, bank fraud, checks, loans, mortgages, employment, bill payments, and nice stuff. TVs, VCRs, I'm dating myself. Anything you can think of, that's what they want it for. The seemingly low-level white-collar crime has become an international epidemic with staggering economic losses to everybody, to banks, to individuals, to businesses. It's a devastating impact on everybody, and it's an easy crime to commit, and it's a very difficult crime to investigate and prosecute. When you do identity fraud or credit card fraud, usually the way that they do it, that I had more experience with than anything, the big thing now is ordering stuff online. And for identity fraud and for credit card fraud online, you have to know who's hitting the keys, who's actually sitting behind the computer, typing the keys, and making the purchase online with the stolen credit card or routing numbers or whatever. So if there's 5 people living in a house, you know, even though it gets mailed to a certain person that may or may not live there, you have to know who's actually making the purchase. That's why it's so difficult to investigate. And later on, I'll show you one of the cases I did. It's the narrative for the case is 17 pages long, you know, with all the crimes, and it was so big. I had 2 boxes like this big, full of documents that I wound up getting. How does someone obtain it? Your information, they go through your trash. I've had that. We did a search warrant on a house, and we found mail from where in this person's house in Springfield. Internet sites, chat rooms, deceased databases, dating sites. You go on, you look up obituaries. You start off there, you get someone's name, find out what their social security number is after that. You go to voting registries. You know, you have to register at the town hall to vote. Phishing and spoofing, and I'll get into that a little later. Phone or emails, mail theft, both incoming and outgoing. So, you know, you leave that letter in your mailbox, you put the little flag up there for the mailman to know. You're just telling everybody, I have a letter in here that's going out, possibly a check, more likely it is because you're mailing a bill. Wi-Fi networks, so you go to a doctor's office, they have free Wi-Fi, airports have free Wi-Fi, Starbucks have free Wi-Fi, McDonald's. So you're someone there sitting out in a car, not inside, just monitoring everybody's coming and going. They have viruses that they can embed inside, like McDonald's or Starbucks. We had I went to a seminar in Connecticut, and there's this guy that they turned over, and he was helping the United States Secret Service. And what he did was he took a gift card from Home Depot, and he embedded a virus in the strip. And when he went inside to purchase a candy bar, that virus went in there, and he went back out to his car. He had a parabolic antenna hooked up to his computer and just followed the virus to where it went, gave him all the information he needed, stole everybody's credit card information. You know, like, because when you go to, like, Home Depot, I've noticed lately that they ask you if you want to save your receipt to your email. Type in your email address. They have your credit card number, they got your name, they have your email address. The only thing they don't have is your phone number, but that's easy for them to get. You go through, they get it through your home, either breaking into your house or you have an open house. You know, what are you going to do with all your financial papers if you have an open house? You have your realtor there, and you have 3 people come in, 3 adults come in, and the realtor can't follow everybody around. Where's the bathroom? I need to use the bathroom. Oh, it's upstairs. They go into your bedroom, they go into your jewelry box, they look and see if you have a safe. Maybe later they're going to target your house, break into your house later on, maybe a week or 2 or a day or 2 down the road. But that's where they get all this stuff, and it's endless, the places they can get this from. Spoofing phone numbers, corrupt businesses. We had one, I did a case at Goodwill. The woman walked into Goodwill and she went to pay for something. I'm sorry, the machine's not working. We're going to do it by hand, like they used to do at Forbes and Wallace and Steigers. Remember that? And she just kept all the receipts and brought them home, and she made some purchases on her computer. When they steal your wallet or purse, I ran into that. Credit card skimming. You know what a credit card skimmer is? Okay, I'm gonna get into that a little later. Shoulder surfing, looking at your PIN number, public documents, birth, death certificates. the Social Security Death Index, the Freedom of Information Act, you can get that from ancestry.com. So when you go and fill out a credit card application, or what's the first question they always ask you, who you are, name, address, what's your mother's maiden name? And that's where they can get that from. So phishing and spear phishing. Everybody know what that is? Phishing is phone calls, emails, letters in the mail where they say they'll make up something. And what they'll usually do is call you and say, hi, I'm from Bank of America. And they have these programs out there now for spoofing. And I'm sure all of you have received phone calls from people and 413 area codes. Yeah, one and everything. Well, what they do is there's a program. I think it's an app you can have too. And you type in the phone number you're calling from, the phone number you want to call, and the phone number you want the other person to see.
Really?
So, yes. Yeah. So they can.
They sell these to like regular people?
You can get apps on your phone, and the telemarketers overseas, they use this stuff all the time. And it happened when we first found out about it, my son was in Boston and he called me. No, he lived in Florida at the time, and he called me from his mom's house. And I'm like, you're home? He goes, yeah, I'm home. I'm going to come over. He starts laughing. He goes, no, I'm in Florida. This is a new spoofing site I have. So you can type in any number you want. You can type in the number for the IRS. You could type in an 800 number for Bank of America. You could type in an 800 number for MasterCard, 800 number for Visa. And all they have to do is say, you can check, and they can put down there what it is. Put Bank of America, and then the toll-free number. If you check your ID, you can see that it's actually from Bank of America on your caller ID. And then you think, hey, it's got to be them because it's on my caller ID. No, that's not the way it works anymore. Spear phishing is when they target you directly. Somehow, some way, they got your name, your phone name, first name and last name, and they got your phone number and maybe your address. Now they want and your email address especially. And that's how some of these investigations, some of these things happened in DC, where you hear about all the emails some people got. Well, they spear phish. So they made up a name like, I'm just going to say, dtrump@whitehouse.com. And they email some politician and say, hey, can you send me the file on blah, 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 blah? Oh, it's Donald Trump, And they send, that's called spear phishing, where they target someone with a little bit of information about them, maybe not a lot of information, and they usually want something like your social security number, your bank accounts, checking account numbers. Can you verify your social security number? Do you have your social security card on you? Yeah, can you read off the numbers to me? Stuff like that. So those are directly targeting you. So prevention tips. Monitor your credit report. You go to credit report, creditreport.com, I think it is. I have it on later on in here. It's free. You can get 3 a year from between the 3 bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Monitor your bank and credit card statements monthly. You go in, sometimes people go in there and they say, oh, a $2 charge, $5 charge. Oh, I must have bought a candy bar. I must have bought this. What happens a lot of times is through the black web, and there is a black web. I was on it doing research on a protected computer, so I couldn't get a virus. They sell banks of credit card numbers. It's not the actual card. It's the numbers, it's the expiration dates, and the code on the back. And you have to buy in banks of 50 or 100, and sometimes even more than that. And what's funny about that is, you know how you have to pay them to get it? With a credit card. It won't take anything else but a credit card. And they're actually out there. I mean, those commercials you see about the black web is actually true. And that's how they operate. So what they do is, once you get the card, and they've done it already, it says pre-tested. And pre-tested means that they bought something online for $1 or $5 or something like that, and they came back and it went through, so they know the card's good. It hasn't been reported stolen, or suspicious activity wasn't logged in through the bank account by the by the individual who owns that credit card. And that's how they test it. So when you look at your credit card statement or your bank statement or your checking account statement, which sometimes you have debit, what you're going to see is that you may see, if they're testing your card, a charge for $2 or $5 or $10. If you don't recognize it, you need to call the bank. Something's not right, okay? Do not discard mail in the trash unless you cross-shred it first. There's two types of shredders, one that shreds straight down and one that goes like this. So you leave little tiny pieces of paper everywhere. Use only trusted internet sites and phone numbers. So if someone calls you up from Bank of America or from the IRS or whatever, IRS is not going to call you. They're going to send you a letter in the mail. IRS will hardly ever call you. They send you a letter saying you're being audited. They send you a letter saying you underpaid us or you overpaid us and here's your refund. So what you have to do is say, okay, I can see that you're Bank of America on my ID. I'm going to look up your number and I'm going to call my Bank of America in East Long Meadow or Ware or Rutland or whatever it is. Whatever that company is that's trying to get this information from you, that's who you're going to look up and that's who you're going to call to verify the information. One, anybody calling you shouldn't ask you for any information. If they're legitimate, they're going to have it. Bank of America is going to have the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. They're going to have your date of birth. They're going to know where your mail's going, whether it's an email or whether it's your address when you get your statements in the mail. They're going to know all that stuff. So there's no need for them to ask you. And this whole thing about, well, can you verify this? You verify it. You're calling me. You have that information. You tell me what my Social Security number is. Click. You know, that's what's going to happen. Use only secured. So United States Postal Service mailboxes, if you can avoid putting your flag up and putting a check in your mailbox, please do that. Under no circumstances do you give your information to anyone over the phone, especially over the internet, unless you initiate the call or email which is listed, use the email which is listed on your statement. So you get a statement and you go to your email, type in the email address of them if you want. Use the number that's on your statement, okay, to make any phone calls for any information. Prevention tips. If you do not plan on applying for a credit card in the near future, freeze your credit. I did that. I immediately stopped getting solicitations in the mail. I don't get the 0% interest credit card offers from anyone anymore. My wife gets them, my daughter gets them, and then you have to use up all the oil in your shredder to shred all these, and it's just a pain. So I don't get them, and that's the best thing. If you're not going to apply for a loan, if you're not going to apply for any type of anything that needs credit, then freeze your credit. You can always unfreeze it. And I think there's legislation going forward where if you want to unfreeze it or freeze it, it's not going to cost you anything anymore. Right now it's $5. I think last time I checked, if I want to unfreeze my credit, it's going to cost me $5. And I, pardon me?
How do you?
I'm going to get into that. All right. I'm going to have numbers up here and everything for you. So if you want to apply for a loan, say you go to TD Bank, who do you use for your credit reports? They're going to say either use Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. Okay, then you call Equifax up, say, hey, I want to unfreeze my credit, or you go online and do the information online. Your credit's unfrozen, you call the bank up, hey, go run my credit now, it's unfrozen. They run your information, they get your credit report, go back online, or you call them back up, freeze your credit again. Okay? Do not leave your wallet or purse in the car or unattended while out. So nice sunny day, it's like 65 degrees, kind of warm in your car, you roll down your passenger side window and your pocketbook goes there, and you happen to be going through whatever city you're going through, and you stopped at a light, and there's someone there waiting to cross, and they look in your car, and there's your pocketbook. What a great opportunity to grab your pocketbook, they're running off, they got everything. All right, so be careful what you do with all your, and if you're going out, there's a whole other thing I do about shopping and being safe, being a safe shopper and things like that. One of the things I tell people, if you're going out to Stop and Shop or to Big Y or to wherever, are you going to need your checkbook? Are you going to need all your credit cards? Are you going to need everything? Just bring one debit card with you or one check that you're going to make out for that one place, write your check out, and then go home and leave everything at home in a safe place. Secure your financial documents at home. They should be in a locked cabinet, especially if you're going to have an open house. You're going to sell your house, or if you're going to have a party, you're going to have new neighbors show up that live down the street, and all the neighbors are going to be there meeting them, and you don't know who they are, you don't know where they're going, you don't know what they're doing. That's a bad situation to run into. Protect your PIN number. So when you're buying gas or you're at a grocery store, you have the little kiosk in front of you. They've put facades over those and captured people's credit card information and their PIN numbers. And there's a little video I'm going to show you how they do it. They distract you and then they just put it over there. TD Bank in East Long Meadow got hit. It was like last year. The case is going through federal court right now. The guy got over $1 million between Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York. And he's going through federal court right now. He's from Bosnia. And, you know, someone found it, that something wasn't right. One of the employees notified the police, Secret Service were notified. They went down there, they looked at it, and go, yeah, this is not good, it's a facade. And they sat on that ATM for about a day and a half, waiting for the guy to come back to pull it off, and he did. And they arrested him and wound up getting search warrants for everything, and they got all this treasure trove of information. Write CID or check ID in the back of your card. That's all my cards, if I can find one, because they're all at home.
So in place of your signature, you're supposed to do CID or check ID?
I do. I got CID. But you'll see if I played a video for you, sometimes that doesn't work.
I have a question about the second bulleted item. It says to limit your use of credit cards. I only use one credit card, and someone told me to use my credit card for everything instead of my debit card.
Well-
Because the credit card, you're insured.
Well, the credit card will cover you, usually 100%, but I think what each one is different. Some of them will only cover you after the first $50. The first $50 is on you. A debit card, see, and the difference between a debit card and a credit card is you're using a credit card, you're borrowing someone's money, and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to pay you back. A debit card, you're using your money. And the bank is letting you use your own money at a convenience of using the card. And you have to fight to get your money back with a debit card. With a credit card, you're a lot more protected, especially if you're going to a gas station. If someone steals your information and doesn't wipe out your account, because if they make a lot of charges on your credit card, $500, $600, you're usually 100% of the time covered, as long as you catch it in time. Can't be 6 months down the road. Debit card's a lot different. The bank is going to ask you a lot of questions. Did you give your PIN out? Well, the PIN was used. I didn't give my PIN out to anybody. You know, I personally don't ever use my debit card at a gas station. One of the videos I'm going to show you, a girl from Senior Services called me, Jim, I got all these problems. They charged $400 and something at Bloomingdale's in California. What was it? $486. And we have the video of two Asian people using the credit card, her credit card, in a matter of 6 hours. Between her going to the gas station at the corner of Page and St. James in Springfield and them at Bloomingdale's charging something. 6 hours. We had another guy, Brian Elliott, he's a sergeant in Springfield. By the time he got back to the station from getting gas on his way to work, he got a call from his credit card company saying, hey, are you in Jamaica right now? He goes, no. Yeah, we got you buying gas in Jamaica. Nope. Matter of 15, 20 minutes. That's how fast this stuff is. So,
My debit card was compromised because someone in Rio de Janeiro was trying to, I guess they were fishing or whatever, and the charge was for 45 cents. But from my bank, I got a text, I got a phone call, and I got an email.
Yeah. What bank do you have?
Commerce.
Okay.
Commerce
I have
Select Bank.
Citibank. My wife and I went out to dinner. By the time the guy came back with the receipt for me to sign, I had already gotten a text saying that such and such was charged on your account, which is good. That's what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what you have.
exactly.
So if you're going to choose a bank, especially if you're going to use a major credit card, it's awesome if you can have a bank that notifies you as soon as the purchase is made. And they can also activate alerts. So, hey, you're late. Your payment is due 2 days from now, 3 days from now, a week from now. So there's a difference between a security freeze and a fraud alert. Fraud alert notifies all the credit card bureaus. You just have to notify one. I have suspicious activity on my card. I need a fraud alert put on. So they're alerted that something's not right, possibly, and to be on the lookout for any fraudulent activity. You tell them I'm not going to open up any accounts anytime soon. A security freeze is, and this expires after 90 days. This one here will not expire unless you cancel it. And it's up to you. Usually they assign you or give you a password that you can change, and you can go online, unfreeze it. And there's one of them now that actually has an app where you can freeze it and unfreeze it just using your app. Okay. So what do you have here? You have a routing number and account number. What is that? That's a check, right? Other than what you see, the account number and routing number, what are those numbers?
Routing number's the bank.
Right. But what are they really? You're not going to know this answer because I made this kind of up. But this is the combination to all your money in your checking account. Those numbers, it's like you have a locker and you're trying to get the combination and get into your locker. Those are the combination to everything that you have in your checking account. I had a case in Springfield where,
It changes,
pardon me?
it changes.
No, the check changes. Every time you use a different check, that changes. Those numbers are always the same on every check that you have.
But you don't have the same amount of money in your checking account.
Correct. So one day you may have 500, another day you may have 2, another day you may have 1,000. But they're going to have access to that. Be careful who you give checks out to. I did an investigation where a woman, she worked for an agency, a government funded agency that paid bills for disabled people. And there were 17 of them where this woman who was working for this center, paying bills, paid for her Mercedes-Benz, paid for all her jewelry at K Jewelers, paid for her boyfriend's phone, went on shopping sprees. If you type in my name, Detective James Gormley, at like on Mass Live, you'll get all the information about her. And went to Superior Court, $50-something thousand, and she got probation and restitution she had to pay back. Yeah. So all someone really has to do, there's a way to do this, and I don't want to advertise it to everybody, okay? But there's an easy way to use someone else's routing number and account number to pay your bills. And if you've done that yourself, like when you go online to your credit card and you want to pay a bill, there's an option there that utilizes that, all right? So just be careful who you give a check to. I'm not saying don't give it to Home Depot, but you get some guy who comes to your house you shouldn't be talking to anyway that wants to do your driveway, don't be giving him a check. Just be careful who you give checks to.
Are you going to be talking about charities? Like, which ones are trustworthy? Who do we give
No.
money to?
No,
You're not going to talk about
no. Because you run into a lot of different issues. There's a lot of veteran charities out there. They have a big overhead. You know, they have to pay people salaries and a certain percentage. I mean, I don't have a right because I haven't investigated charities. You know, that's not part of what I do. That's the Attorney General's office that probably does that. So what you do if you're a victim of identity fraud, contact your financial institutions to place a hold or stop on the affected accounts. your checking account, your savings account, whatever. File a report with the police, obtain a credit report number. You're going to need that. First thing you're going to do is notify your credit card. Second thing you're going to do is notify the police department, because the credit card company is going to want a police report from you. The bank is going to want a police report from you. Obtain an ID theft affidavit through the Federal Trade Commission. That number's there. If you guys want to write that down, everything's recorded, so we're good. Place a fraud alert or freeze on your credit. What should you do if you're a victim? Continue, notify all 3 credit reporting agencies. You can put a freeze on there. Those are the phone numbers for all of them. You can either use a fraud alert or a freeze. You're going to need a statement. Usually the narrative in the police report you're going to make is good enough, but a lot of banks will want their own. Where you get your free reports, annualcreditreport.com. And it's free. Like I said, you get 3 a year. Now, you see a lot of commercials out there. I haven't heard them in a while, but freecreditreport.com, I've heard from my experience from talking to other people that they actually kind of charge you. It's like a service you pay for, a yearly service. I may be wrong about that, but that's what I heard. You can choose to opt out on pre-approvals. So you don't want to get those solicitations in the mail. You can call this number and opt out. And like I was telling someone else before about how many people here get phone calls from everybody in the world? All right.
All day long.
Yeah. So a good company will look on, and I'm not sure how they do it. I'm pretty sure they get you type a number in there, or they give you a database of numbers that are on the registry so you can look them up. But this will only stop you from getting phone calls from legitimate companies. You'll still get phone calls from nonprofits. You'll still get political phone calls to vote for this person or vote for that person. You'll still get phone calls from anyone trying to scam you or people overseas trying to sell you something, because they don't go by the registry. Okay, so right here, so you guys can look at these later. And it didn't come out too well here, but the one on top right here, this is a legitimate postal money order, okay? The ones on the bottom are counterfeits, and they're all coming out of Jamaica. They're getting pallets of these things coming. It used to be they were getting from Africa, from Nigeria. They were getting pallets, intercepting pallets being shipped to the United States. It's told by Brendan Murphy is the one that gave me all these props here, all the material. They're actually cases that he had, and I want to thank him for that. But he gave me these, and he said they're all coming from Jamaica now. And you can't tell the difference by looking at them. There's a way they can. It has watermarks on them. It has the metal strip going down. And the only way that you can tell, if you get one in the mail, bring it to the post office, and they can tell you if it's legitimate or not. Okay? So money orders, checks, cashier's checks. The way these work is, like it'll either be a secret shopper, or you're going to sell something on Craigslist. I guarantee you put anything on Craigslist right now, within a matter of 30 minutes, you'll get an email saying, oh, I'm really interested in your item. They won't say what the item is, I'm interested in your item. My shipper will come. He's going to have a shipper come and pick up your rototiller or whatever you're trying to sell. And what he'll do is, you say you want $400 for the rototiller. He's going to send you a money order in the mail, either from the U.S. Postal Service or from a fake company. You can see all the fake company checks there. Even JetBlue's got a fraudulent counterfeit check there. And they'll overpay you by $200, You want $400, oh, we sent you accidentally a check for $650. You know what? Deposit the check, keep an extra $50 for yourself, and when the check clears, just send us back $200 to whatever. And usually, either you'll send them a check somewhere, or they'll want you to go buy a gift card at Target or Home Depot or Lowe's. And I'll talk about that a little later, but that's a lot of times when you get the phone calls to the IRS scams, they want you to go and buy a gift card to pay the IRS. It's like, come on. So what they do is you'll get the check, you put it in your checking account, it clears in 7 days, you're like, yay, you know, I got a check, I sold my rototiller, you know, I'm getting an extra 50 bucks, I'm gonna send this person $200 back, we're all good to go, I got $450 for it. Well, what's gonna happen is at the end of the month, 30 days after that, the check is gonna get to whomever where it's gonna go, whether it's JetBlue, like that one over there, whether it's Bank of America check or U.S. Postal Service, whoever the check came from, it's going to finally clear, and it's going to get to them, and they're going to go, this isn't our check. We didn't authorize this, and they're not going to honor it. And what's going to happen is they're going to freeze your account. They're going to pull that money out of the account. You're not the $400 that you think you got. They're going to actually hold the $650 and say you've spent the $400. You know, and so now you're out. Now you have to try and return whatever you bought for $400, or hopefully you saved it, put it back in the account, and everything's going to be good. But you definitely lost the money you gave to them. That's gone forever. So just because something you have a check and it clears in 7 days doesn't mean everything's okay. You got to wait a good 30 days for that thing to clear, or bring it to the bank that it came from. If they send you a United States Postal Service money order, go to the Postal Service. Say, I want you to tell me if this is a legitimate check or not. Chances are it's not, all right? And like what I did when I got mine, I actually called them and says, hey, I got a check. I knew it was fake. I knew what they were going to say, but I just had to verify it because I didn't want to tell the story without having actual knowledge of what was going on. They go, yeah, no, I just want to let you know, your name's out there, your company's name's out there, and they're sending checks out, you know, so just be aware. And I told them who I was and everything. So you get something in the mail like this, certification of disbursements pending, $2,450,000, yeah, $2,450,900. But do you notice a word up here that can catch you at the end? Pending, you know? So all that means is, it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean you want anything. All it means is, if this is legitimate, that your ability to win this is pending, and you're never going to win anything. And this one here says, money order and prize eligibility notification. It just says that you're eligible. Now, these may be the legitimate companies trying to do a, you know, I don't want to say a one-over on you, but trying to get you, to compel you to get involved in this. I wrote a letter to the Attorney General's office in Connecticut about a company that sells cars. And your car is worth this, your car's worth that, plus we're going to give you an extra $450, and you're entitled to a free, you know, $10 gift certificate for Butterball turkey. You know, and there's a little, they don't use stars anymore, they use crosses. Little cross there, you have to turn it on the back, and it says, it just gives you the definition of Kelley Blue Book. Kelley Blue Book is a company that appraises your vehicle for whatever, blah, 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 blah. We go by Kelley Blue Book appraisals at the very end, you know. So when I get there, and I kind of figured, you know, what was going to happen. Oh, you'd like this car, and oh, it drives great. My wife is in it. I want it, you know. And like they go out to our car. Oh, and the guy says, I go, well, we got a little paint on it. There's a chip over it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. This is what you're entitled to, blah, 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 blah. I was like, no. He came back with like $12,000 for my wife's car. We paid like $21,000 for it. And I'm like, what? I go, I told you this was going to happen. But, we just walked out because you got to read the fine print. There's fine print everywhere. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It's probably not. Yeah.
Well, what if we win this $900 million? How are we going to know when they notify us that it's a real thing?
Are you talking about Powerball tomorrow night?
Yeah. So how would they notify people then?
Yeah, they're not going to. I had a lady, she had a call from Publishers Clearinghouse that she won a brand new Mercedes. And the Mercedes was on the dock at a port in New York. And they were going to deliver the car to her. And I said, you know what, just give me the phone number. You know, I go, they're not going to show up, but I stayed out there anyway. I go, don't worry about it. You don't have to be home. Do what you're going to do. They're never going to show up to your house with the car. Or someone going to her house wanting the tax money for it. And nobody ever showed up. And they called up later, oh, I'm sorry, got held up, and you know, Customs has it now. They want $400 for a fee, and it was like a never-ending thing it was going to be. First it was the fee, then I got held up at the state border, then I got held up at the dealership, then I got, you know, it was going to be a never-ending scenario where she was just going to lose money over and over again. So I got a subpoena for the phone number. It's an administrative subpoena, and it came back to a Florida address. So I called the Secret Service up in Florida. They went to the address, turned out to be a mall. I'm like, yeah, they go, like a walk-through mall, you know, like Easter Mall or whatever mall you can think of. And he's like, hey, I need to know what suite it is. I go, don't waste your time. I know what's going on. I just figured I'd confirm it, you know. So then I got a subpoena for, it was actually, the phone number was through a cable company in Jamaica. And what we have and what everybody is kind of going towards now is VoIP. And VoIP is Voice over Internet Protocol. So like UMA and Magic Jack, did you ever hear those? All right. So what it is you hook your phone up to your computer, and you can call using the computer lines. You can call using the internet. So these people are in Jamaica, and I wound up getting through Magic Jack, a subpoena through them, of all the phone numbers this guy called during the day. It was over 250 phone calls he made every day for a week, over and over and over again. Her number was in there. And she was just one of the people who wound up answering the phone and kind of going through the motions with him. And there's nothing they can do. Lately, what Brendan Murphy has told me is they have agents now in some of these countries like Jamaica and down there in the islands now that have a reciprocal agreement with these countries where all this stuff is coming from, where they'll swap information, they'll exchange legal status for making arrests and stuff like that. That's what he told me. So things are getting a little bit better. So scams, did I miss anything here? No, okay. I'm going to get into scams a little bit. Someone calling you claiming to be a relative, grandma and grandpa. There's a lot of different scenarios. You're going to get a phone call. You could get a phone call 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually it's late at night. And they'll say, with a question mark at the end, if a male or female answers the phone, grandma, grandpa, and yeah, oh my God, I just got into an accident. I'm in the hospital, but they need money for surgery. I've been arrested. They want a bail. And they wait for you to say, is this Johnny? Yeah, it's Johnny. They got me. I can't, you know, I'm being held hostage. There's so many different scenarios they can go through. All right, and you're nervous. You're upset. Oh my God, my grandson, my granddaughter, my son, my daughter, whoever the relationship is, you think something's really going on. It's a phone call. They got your number, you know, and they're telling you who they are, but you're the one, you're so nervous that you give them the name. And then they go, you know, why are you doing this to me, Grammy? You have to go down in Western Union and Western Union me, whatever, you know. Don't fall for it. Call the police, hang up, call Johnny up, or call your daughter up and see if Johnny is home. You know, do what you need to do, but don't fall for some of this stuff unless you do some investigation on your own. And don't be afraid to call the police department, right? Don't, you know, if it's a local police department, you know, just use the local number. The distant police department, you're going to have to use their number. Start asking questions. Where are you? What police department? What hospital are you in? Oh, and there's a new one out there now. I know your dirty little secret. It's an email and phone calls that they're using. Hi, you don't know me, but I know you. I found out your dirty little secret. I found out your secret that you're not telling me. You're not telling anybody. I did an intensive investigation on you and found out what no one else knows. All I want you to do is pay me for the time and energy I put into this investigation. And I want, this is what it's going to cost you, this is where to send the money, this is how you contact me, and it's a VoIP number. It's usually never a legitimate number, although it goes to somewhere. And you say, well, why can't they find out, you know, through the VoIP, like through the internet? Because a lot of them have, it's called IP Vanish. I have it on mine. So if you're doing web searching, it gives the person you're going to, like the website, a different IP address. So if I do a search or with someone, they think I'm in Washington, D.C. versus where I really live. And that's what they also use on the phones is you can't tell where the IP address is coming from. An IP address is like, it's an address for your house, but the address is through the internet. It's an internet address for your location, okay? A call or letter claiming you won a prize, lottery car, kind of went through that. Renting a house on Craigslist. So we've had a couple of those in Springfield where someone has their house up for sale. Next thing you know, there's someone there moving in, and neighbors are calling the police go there. What's going on? We rented this house. It's like, yeah, we have all the documents here. This is the check I sent them. They sent me a key to the house. It's a fake key. And we're in here, you know, and like, no, this house is up for sale. Yeah, we can see that, but they told me it was up for sale, and we're renting it out until it gets sold. No. The whole thing's a scam. So what they do is they go on Realtor.com, they go on some of these other sites, Zillow, and they'll get an address up for sale. They'll take all the pictures, they'll pull them out of the website, and they'll put it on Craigslist themselves. You can actually, some people have gone on Craigslist, called us, and go, hey, my house is up for rent on Craigslist. How did you know about it? Oh, my neighbor was going through looking for vacation properties, and all of a sudden my picture popped up, you know, for my house. You know, so that's a big scam now too. I shouldn't say it's big, it's common. Buying or selling a car on Craigslist and eBay, we kind of went through that a little bit. Even PayPal is not that secure. There's a lot of PayPal scams out there. If you just go on the internet and type in PayPal scam, you'll see some of those out there. Secret shoppers, my daughter got hit by that I told you about, and she got a check in the mail for $900, so it was United States Postal Service money order, and she was like, oh, look, they sent me a check. I go, it's a scam. I go, you know, I called up one of my contacts, and they were like, yeah, that's no good. They did a check on it, found out it wasn't good. So I don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, and that was one of the things was they were going to give her the check for her to cash. She was going to put the money in her account, send them back $350, and she could keep the rest. Well, they just made $350, and she just lost the $350. But fortunately, it never happened. Money, you and I, we did that. The Postal Service money orders, fishing and spear fishing, we did that. IRS calls asking, yeah. So right now, you're getting calls from Social Security. That's the biggest thing around here for scams for the phone for government agencies, whether it's IRS or Social Security. So you'll get a call from someone claiming to be Social Security. Hi, this is so-and-so Social Security. They have your name. They got your name from somewhere, one of these registries. This is my phone number. This is my extension. This is my name. Your Social Security number got deactivated for some reason. We don't really know what's going on. We think your account's been compromised. Someone is using your Social Security number. Do you have your card on you? Oh, yeah, I got it in my pocketbook. I got it in my wallet. Can you verify the number on your Social Security card? Oh, yeah, it's 031396142. Yeah, and verify your name, please. Yeah, it's James Gormley. And your address. Where are you living now? We don't have you. Oh, yeah, I live at blah, blah, blah. And they have all your information, all right?
They also leave a message.
They leave a message. So, and then the other one now is, and I get them on my phone a lot at home, my home phone, from the IRS. We have issued a warrant against you. We have issued a warrant. we're going to call the cops, all right? First of all, the IRS, they don't issue a warrant against you. They issue a warrant for you. And they don't call the cops. They're going to call law enforcement. It's going to be an IRS officer. It's not going to be a local cop, all right? So you got to, and same thing with Craigslist. If you read how they phrase things and how things are spelled out. They spell them a little differently. They use them in a different context. They don't use the right words for the meaning they want to express. So you start picking up on all this stuff. And you know, I must have like 50 warrants for me now already through the IRS for the amount of calls I'm getting at my house, not on my cell phone anymore. And I tried to change my phone number at my house, but my wife doesn't want to. And the good thing about having a home phone versus having only a cell phone, a lot of people are just going to cell phones. If you call 911 on your cell phone, you're getting the state police. If you call 911 on your house phone, you get the local police, okay? You can still get UMA and Magic Jack. They'll give you a GPS that you plug into either UMA or that'll tell, you can call 911, you'll get your local police department. But if you're going to use your cell phone, you're not going to get the local police department, you're going to state police. Financial institutions, IRS call. Yeah, IRS, they want you to pay through Western Union. They'll take, just so you know, they'll take Target. They won't take Sears anymore because they're going bankrupt. They'll take Starbucks, they'll take Home Depot, and the IRS will take Lowe's as payments. Right, okay? I was just joking for all you cable people out there. They don't really do that. If you get anybody asking you to do any of the following, right? Whether it's through an email, whether it's through a phone call, if they want you to pay through Western Union, Green Dot cards, or any type of gift cards, you need to hang up the phone or just don't involve yourself with it because Western Union is you could be anywhere in the world and get a payment through a Western Union. And a Green Dot card, you could be anywhere in the world and use the number because what they're going to do is I want you to go to Walgreens or go to CVS and get a Green Dot card and load it up with $150 or $500 or $1,000. And you're going to do that, and all they're going to want is the number for the Green Dot card. And it's like a Bitcoin number, you know, where the number is worth the money. It's not the card itself, it's the number that has all the value. Okay, internet phones, matchstack, spoofing, we covered that. Verify caller ID, well, I think I talked about that, right? Restaurant receipts. I got a slide at the end, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about there. Radio frequency ID cards, if you have this on the back of your card, your credit card, your card sends out a signal. And there's a sender or a receiver, depending on where you're purchasing something, that receives that information. You'll see it there. And you think, see what this is, you know what that is? That's a chip, right? None of these prevent your card from being used on the internet. None of them will.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Anybody having these numbers here and the expiration date and the security code on the back can use your cards. That only helps you in person at a local point of sale. That's called a POS, point of sale. So if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you're going to go to make a charge, that's fine. But if you go on the internet and you want to use the card to purchase something anywhere, and it says enter your credit card information, they don't have chip protection. What's going to happen in the future is you sign into your email account now, like if I sign into my Yahoo email account, and you have a second, authentication. So it says, do you want us to notify you with the passcode for your email on your phone or through your iPad? So you'll say, hit my phone. I'll go to my phone, bang, they send me a passcode. So not only do I have to enter my phone number, my password in there, two-factor identification I have to enter in there, which is the code they sent you to get into your own email account, all right? That's if you're going to go and just enter your, I'm not talking about if you go to your phone, you have the app in there. If you go to a computer that you don't use, or if you have your home computer, you don't have an app, usually there's no apps on your PC that are directly going to where you need them to go to and saving the password and everything. They ask you for a two-factor identification. One's your email password, and one is the code that they send you, okay? That's what they're going to start using probably in the future someday. You go to purchase something at a store using your credit card. Are you using your credit card? Please enter in the code on the keypad wherever store you're going to. That's going to authorize it. That's way, way, way down the road. So credit card skimming, they have a little thing now that goes into your iPhone. It's about the size of my fingernail right here and has a little slice through it. And a lot of people at flea markets use them. You plug that into your phone, you give them your credit card. Well, they're having people now in restaurants, grocery stores. Macy's had one in Holyoke, where they had a couple of gang members, girlfriends working at Macy's. This is like going back 5 years ago. And what they do is they'll take your credit card, or they'll walk away from where you're sitting at a restaurant to go pay your bill, and to just have a little skimming thing. These girls, what they did was they just pretend to drop the card. They dropped the card and they just swiped it, and then, oh, okay, I'll get it. Swiped it and did what they had to do, okay? But when you're at a restaurant and they're walking away with your card, you don't see where they're going. You don't see what they're doing, okay? So if you have a choice between getting up, walking to the register, and paying for it, and you can see where your card's going, do that. If not, then you got to take your chances. Like I said, look for small charges on your credit cards and your debit card. So it would be also on your, because they can steal your debit card number as much as a credit card, Okay, so here we're going to get into gift cards now. And on gift cards, what the heck did I do with it? On the gift cards, you'll see that oh, here it is right here. In the back of gift cards, they either have this and that, and this one's got two of them and that. So the difference between all of those is they utilize the barcode only. That some gift cards will do that, just the barcode only. Others will you scratch off with a coin, right? And this one here, see the little thing right here? You peel that off, and it stays sticky. So what they're doing is they're going to grocery stores or CVS or Walgreens to pulling the cards off, copying the back of them, going back to the store and putting them back on. Yeah, so the only one that's really good and you should look for are the kind where you have to tear like Amazon has it, you have to tear it off, and there's a bar, not only a UPC symbol, a sequence of numbers and letters. This here, you can't put back on. It's like a lottery ticket. This here, you peel it off, you put it back on. So they'll take them, go copy them, peel that thing off, get the number, put it back on. You go to the website or you call a number, you enter the gift card number in, and it tells you it's been activated or not, what the balance is on them. And they work because, I see on here I got CVS on the back, I got Big Y here, and I got Stop and Shop here. And it's just a barcode. You copy it on a piece of paper, it's as good as the card itself. So you got to be careful. So if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to purchase one of those, purchase the one that you think is more secure. All right, so you're going to mail a gift card. Now, if you were a thief and you wanted to pick a letter out that you think had a gift card in it, would you pick out a white card, or would you pick out a green one, or one of these, or one of those? Probably one of these. And I'm the victim of one of those, by the way. Long, long time ago. I mailed out a card to my son, had a gift card in it, and it was Christmas. So Christmas card envelopes are usually what? Red or green. Valentine's Day is red, and Thanksgiving is usually orange. right? And you're in a pile of envelopes, and you see the corner of a red or green card. It's so easy to spot. Pull it right out, open it up, there's a gift card, put the card in your pocket, you either throw it back in there or throw it away or hide it in your pants or something like that. And it's as easy as that. If you're going to mail cards out for the holiday season, mail it. If you can mail it in a white envelope, mail it in a white envelope. It's going to be less attractive. Or two, if you're going to mail a bunch of them, use a padded envelope to put them in. And get insurance on it. And if you're going to get insurance on it, you got to keep the receipt until the person gets the card. So, and even then after that, until they use the card probably. So, because in order to claim insurance, the Postal Service needs proof that you purchased it. Anybody can mail anything out and get insurance. If you can't prove what's in there and prove that you actually paid for what you said you lost, they're not going to make a payment to you because you could be lying. You could be scamming them. Avoid raffles, and nothing is free. They use this information for telemarketers. So you walk into a mall, wherever that mall may be, or a strip mall, or wherever, and I remember seeing John Deere tractors for raffle. Free John Deere tractor. And who's going to enter the wrong information then because they want to win the tractor? You're going to enter in your name, they want your name, address, email address, and phone number. And they take all those letters, all those little things you fill out, and they enter them into a database, and they sell them to a telemarketer. And that's where you get some of your phone calls from. So be careful filling those out. You know, and when do you ever find out who won the tractor? You don't. Limit giving your phone number or email address to essential contacts only. And this one here, obtain a second email address for purchases, web surfing. Primary one is for family, friends, and work. So I have two email addresses, and they're one letter apart, CW149 and CW149A. And the A one is for when I'm surfing and I want to enter, become a member to a website or something like that, like TacomaClub.com, or you want to be part of Tacoma World. And I give them that because if I don't hear from them, I'm okay. If you care about who you're going to hear from, like your banking institution, your friends, your family, anything like that, then give them your primary one. Your secondary one goes to people you don't really care if you lose contact with them, okay? And another thing I do with my email address, anytime I buy something, I have an iPad or my iPhone, take a picture of the receipt and email it to yourself. No matter where you go or what you do, you always have the receipts on you if you email them to yourself. So if you're at a store, I don't have my receipt, or you lose it. I lose receipts all the time, but I always have them on my email. So you don't have, when you go and return something, do you have your receipt with you? No, but I have it on my phone. You pull it up on your phone, show it to them. Okay, this is what I'm talking about like at a restaurant. So what I'd like you to do is when you go to a restaurant and you make a purchase, treat that receipt like it was a check. So you're going to write down the tip amount, you're going to add it up, and then you're going to write down right here the amount in handwriting, and then you're going to sign it. So if someone does want to steal money from you and make that $20 $120, or change it 1 to an 11, or whatever the number is going to be, a 6 to an 8, they also have to change the handwriting like it was a check, and then sign it. And always do this, if you're going to write it out always out above your name, not below your name, because then they could just cut the bottom out, you know what I mean, and then change it. Are we doing on time? Okay. All right, I'm going to try this, see if it works. Let me see here. So this is, I'm going to show you this. Let's see here. PCA, personal care assistant, that's another thing about leaving your financials. If you have parents that you have to care for, or even yourself, or you have someone coming in to care for you, you have to watch out who you're hiring, all right? Do some background checks on them if you can. If you're going to get someone in your house, lock up or have someone else keep all your financial stuff. Have it mailed to someone else's address, your daughter's address, your son's address, whomever that's going to be. Having that stuff in your house can just wipe you out. And that's what happened to Joan, is her PCA got her Social Security number, and they did it because she offered to fill out her application for food stamps. Got all her information, gave it to this woman. Her first name is Malia. Malia started doing this the day after she graduated from Porter and Chester Institute for Internet Technology. Just like that. The day she graduated, she went to town doing everything. And you have to be careful about what you're doing.
My youngest son is an investigator back in Wisconsin, and he's working on this fraud and stuff right now, and he says the biggest, close to 90% are they're finding they're doing this with people with disabilities right now.
Yep.
That's their biggest challenge right now, because they're really centering in on that.
So I want to show you that video. Oh. I think this is it. All right, this is Bloomingdale's in California. All right, she's already handed him a credit card. Now that's the second one she handed him. Well, you'll see how many times she does it, and then how many times he does it, and how they go back and forth. That's not me, that's the camera. So now she's gotten her card back, and I'm pretty sure he's going to pull one out now. So he hands him, I think 3 or 4 credit cards. Now he's going for another one.
Why are they not working?
Well, they were either, the bank either shut them down because they knew something was going on, not just before they did this, or for some reason, I don't know, some of them, so that one works. Now she's going to send him somewhere. Okay, good, that one worked. Okay, I want this thing over here. Go get me that. She's going to say to this guy, and these two are going to start talking. That's the receipt. And you could tell they were getting a little nervous. Did you see him looking around to see if anybody was watching him? Speed it up a little bit. All right, so he comes back. He's got whatever she wants. And I think that the purchase that he made, I think he had her credit card. That was $486. A Chanel fragrance, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bottles of perfume, and then another bottle of perfume for $110. Each one of those is $85. That's another thing. When you're in line at a store and you see someone buying a lot of gift cards, red flags should go up. So she'll be giving him 5 different cards before the card actually goes through.
Is it all in his name?
No, so what they do was they have different credit cards with different numbers on them, all in his name or all in her name. And he's just not paying attention to what's on the screen, or he's in on it, one of the two. I don't know. So now he's going to get another card. And then she goes, oh, no, I'll do it. No, I'll do it.
Why didn't the mail just use the same credit card he used that went through with his previous?
Because they know that's going to set alarms off. Not at the store, but at the bank, and shut the card down. Especially if you have credit limit, a purchase credit limit. Whenever I go anywhere, I always call my bank, now her. So they've already gone through 3. But if this guy's legitimate, at what time do you say, hey, enough is enough here,
Store security or something.
you know? Well, anyway, so eventually she makes the purchase. And there's another video here. I'll find out if the internet works. Wait a minute. 15.
Vacationers beware. Credit card scammers are setting up shop where you least expect it. From fast food restaurants to gas stations. They're actually stealing your card, just making you a target when you hand it over to pay. We've been investigating this story for months, and now one former criminal is switching sides. Here's ABC's Nick Watt for our series Nightline Investigates.
You are watching a brazen breed of credit card thief caught on tape. Miss it? Watch again. This McDonald's drive-thru attendant in Florida is swiping each credit card twice. Once to charge for the food and again through something called a skimmer, which steals the card's details. Crooks can use that info to clone your card and spend a fortune. This burger stand bandit in Boca Raton got caught, pled guilty, and is on 2 years probation. Police say he was stealing the credit card digits of up to 70 customers every single shift. They came in for a McFlurry and drove away with their bank info leaked. But here's the thing, these electronic skimmers are now so advanced they don't even need a human to operate. This alleged crook is searching for a skimmer device installed inside a gas pump in Arizona and left. It automatically steals your credit card info if you pay at the pump. This guy, caught on camera in a covert sting operation.
He put those in there for whatever reason. They're not there anymore. I know why, because I have them.
He's the one who tipped us off to this burgeoning crime, and he's the one who switched out that skimming device for a night vision spy camera.
We may have the first ever video of organized bad guys actually trying to retrieve their skimmers.
That's video gold.
That's what I found mine. It was stuck up here. Unless you're looking like this, you can't see it.
Ahmad Motlaq recently found a skimming device inside one of the pumps. Sat there for months. He had no idea.
It looked like a little matchbox and that's it. It was stuck on one side to the middle.
Skimming all across this country has gotten so bad that Steve Starrins and the United States Secret Service, yeah, the same guys who protect the president, they are now on the case.
Are you winning the war?
Steven,
right now. We're doing our best, but we certainly can use more help.
They're getting help from police departments, tip-offs from gas station owners, and just wait until you meet one of their former secret weapons.
Somebody turned my partner in and he turned me in.
Dan DeFilippi is a reformed credit card hacker who switched sides. He was caught by the Secret Service and then spent 2 years training agents in the dark art of skimming.
So this is the reader that would be inside the gas pump, and so he would just swipe it through and it would read it right here.
How do they get into those pumps? Believe it or not, there's a universal key that opens most gas pump doors.
Imagine that.
Universal key. It's the same key from Massachusetts all the way to California.
You can buy one online.
But some of the newer devices actually use a cell phone network to transmit the data.
So a bad guy can nab your credit card numbers without ever risking a return to the pump.
How much is my number worth?
Anywhere from $5, maybe $30.
So how do we stop guys like Dan from going on shopping sprees with your credit card info? Well, the Arizona Department of Weights and Measures is trying to stop this high-tech heist at its source.
Well, we're here checking for skimming devices.
And it was when they found a skimmer in this pump that they had their bright idea to lay a trap. They pulled out the skimmer and
We inserted one of these little night vision spy cams in the back of the dispenser.
here's the full video from their operation. 2 a.m. and a black SUV pulls into the gas station, picked up on the surveillance camera. Police tell us one guy blocks the attendant's view and 2 people punch over the pump. Bingo. Here's the view from that camera inside. A skimmer gang, police say. Apparently a man and woman team caught red-handed.
What we have here, we have the guy. And I have Mrs. Skinner.
They can't find their skimmer. Start bickering.
So it's almost like a husband and wife team arguing about, where's the car keys?
The cops are still searching for Mr. and Mrs. Skimmer. So what on earth can you do to protect yourself and your credit card digits? Well, gas station owners are seeking new ways to protect their pumps, like locks and alarms. Here are some other things that you can do. Check your account. Most credit card companies will suck up any loss if you report it within 60 days. Choose wisely. Choose a pump near the attendant. Skimmers prefer to target pumps in the shadows. And pay inside. It's time consuming, but it's a whole lot safer. I'm Nick Watt for Nightline in Los Angeles.
And let's see, there is one more I want to show you the beginning of, just to show you how they actually put some of these in, if it comes up. Well, we got to watch a commercial first.
I see how smart relief. Keeps on working even after you take it off because it boosts the release of endorphins, relieving pain for hours. Smart relief. Turn off pain.
Even though they're criminals, we've got to marvel at their ingenuity. You are about to see the extraordinary lengths to which identity thieves will go to steal your credit card information. So will those new chips on all of our cards make any difference? ABC's Nick Watt tonight on what you can do to protect your money.
So watch this guy and watch that.
He points. The clerk, distracted. While she's gone, watch his alleged accomplice. In mere seconds, he slips an identical cover over the store's card reader. A device police believe will automatically steal your card details when you think you're just making a purchase. You'll have no idea. You've just been skimmed. Robert Siciliano, cybercrime expert.
Unfortunately, when it comes to stealing credit card information, it's as easy as swiping your card in.
And they have those now, they're self-contained and come with batteries and their own memory card inside. It's the same thing.
He put those in there, and for whatever reason, they're not there anymore. I know why, because I have them.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, could you tell me again what VoIP is?
Voice over Internet Protocol.
Protocol, okay. And UMA?
UMA is same thing. They're both phones. I got rid of my home phone. I went to UMA. They had the best deal for me. And it comes with a GPS. You hook the GPS in and you stick it out your window. So if my wife calls 911, they know exactly where I'm calling from. And it's all you do is pay the tax. You pay the one-time fee, which we pay $99. We got it at Costco's. And you pay the taxes a month on it, which is $3. You call anywhere in the United States for free. And that's your only bill is $3 a month. You have to have good web service, though. You need... So it's not really you need an internet service. Right. Well, I mean, if you have internet anyway, you're just jumping on it, that's all. Any other questions? What I found out during my investigations is they'll steal a credit card or check, go to like, we have a Lowe's in Springfield, and I go into Lowe's just buying like 5 $100 gift cards. Why $100 gift cards? They're easy to get rid of. You know, if someone try and sell a $500 gift card, it's a little more difficult, even $50 ones. But a lot of times when I was doing investigations, I was doing forensics on credit cards. I mean, strike that, on checking account, no, on, yeah, checking accounts. And you'll see even numbers. If there's a lot of even numbers going on, something's not right. $100, $500, $300, $350. There's actually a formula that they have that you can use, and you do an Excel. I always did an Excel sheet or an Access sheet on a spreadsheet on all my investigations, because what it does is it just organizes things for you. And you can adjust it to say what IP addresses did what, and you'll hit that IP address and everything will pop up that IP address was used for. Or you can hit a dollar amount, so you find a receipt or a transaction somehow somewhere for $352. Just type in the search $352, bang, it pops up, tells you, like where it came from if you inputted that information. You have to input all the information. Sometimes I spent a whole day just inputting information to a spreadsheet, just so that it'll help me later on, especially at trial. You go to trial with a spreadsheet, and the defense attorney sees what you've done, you're like, hey man, you got to plead guilty. And it's worth it in the long run. Going through a trial is a pain. And the biggest problem that I had doing my investigations is, especially with the one that I showed you, Joan, it was a Superior Court case. There was 70-something charges against this woman. All the Superior Court cases were for the elderly victims that I had. They wound up passing away. So it got bounced down. They had to drop the charges, got bounced down to district court, and she pled out. But she pled out to identity fraud. Identity fraud is hard, very, very hard to prove. Very hard to prove. You know, well, what about uttering? Unless you get someone at a bank signing the check, you can't prove that they uttered the check, that they forged someone's signature for a forgery. You have to get them on film. You know, oh, what about, send them to a handwriting expert? They don't do that. I mean, it's done for big cases. It's not done for little larceny cases. From my experience, all there in the cable company, in the cable world. This is all from my experience, and I apologize to anyone if I've offended you or any companies that I've offended you, but this is the information that I had during my 33 years experience as a police officer in Springfield. Any other questions? Oh, you're going to leave here with one thing and one thing only. Trust your instinct. Trust your instinct. There's a gut inside of you, a little voice that tells you something's not right. If you're going to walk out of here, I was doing this speech at a Hamden bank, and I said that to a woman, and she goes, that's what happened to me. I didn't trust my instincts. I walked out of the bank, I'm walking to the parking lot, and I knew something wasn't right. There was someone following me, but something just wasn't right about it, and I talked myself out of it. No, everything's going to be fine. I'm overreacting. She wound up walking around to her car. The guy jumped over the railing, got her, grabbed her by knife point, brought her to an ATM, withdrew all her money. She only had the common sense to step away and said, go ahead, take the money. And there's the camera right there. He grabs the money. So that's how they caught the guy. So if you're driving home tonight and you say to yourself, something's not right. Something doesn't seem right. Subconsciously, we see and hear things that we don't consciously recognize. A window is out of place. A shade is out of place. The door is ajar. A pot has been moved, because that's where people hide keys, and under the fake rock. All right? And so you have to recognize those cues. You have to recognize something's not right. I need to listen to myself. I'm not going to go into the house. So I'm going to call the police or let my neighbor go in, whatever. But trust your instincts. Okay? Thank you.